Pavel Zacha already feels very much at home in Boston, and the Bruins have made a very cool new hire. Going to talk about all that and more on today's episode of Locked On Boston Bruins.
Your Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoke to Be, as well as take a look around the NHL. Today is Friday, July 15th, and I want to thank you so much for making Locked On Bruins part of your day every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. So open up your favorite podcast app, go over to YouTube, smash the Locked On Boston Bruins subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. YouTube subscribers will get some bonus breaking news content in the form of short clips along the way, so you don't want to miss out on what's going on over there. For the folks on Twitter and Instagram, you can find the podcast at Locked NHL Bruins, and you can find me, my dad jokes, hockey tweets at Ian C. McLaren. On Thursday afternoon, Pavel Zacha, the recently acquired member of the Boston Bruins, met with the media, and he had a lot of really interesting things to say, specifically in relation to Boston Bruins captain Patrice Bergeron. This is according to Matt Porter, who had the tweet about what Zacha had to say, and this is the exact quote. Patrice Bergeron already reached out to Zacha following the trade that took place on Wednesday. He gave him a phone call. Zacha said, growing up, being a centerman, he was the guy I was looking up to. Really great two-way center. No duh. Getting a call from him, how nice he was and welcoming. And, this is key, telling me that he's going to meet me at camp and he's excited to talk to me. That's something from a captain and leader to hear. I'm just excited to meet him in person and talk to him. This isn't the first instance lately where Patrice Bergeron has been cited as reaching out to someone new in the organization. It happened. He and Jim Montgomery had a very good chat when the new head coach was hired, and it leads us down the path of believing that Patrice Bergeron will indeed be a member of the Boston Bruins in 2022-2023. Again, Zacha said he was welcoming him, telling him he's going to meet at camp and he's excited to talk to me. Unless Bergeron's just planning to be at camp for whatever reason, that leads us to believe that he indeed will be a member of the team at camp, something from a captain and leader that you want to hear, according to Zacha. So that's very cool. Zacha, despite being born in Czechia, is coming home to Boston in some ways. His fiancee is from the area. He already owns a home in the area. He's become friends with a bunch of fellow NHLers who live in the area, including Boston Bruins defenseman Jakub Zboril. He said they're basically best friends, having grown up together. They were from the same town, picked in the same draft, and Zacha was also David Pastrnak's line mate on Czechia's national teams. More recently, he was teammates with Taylor Hall as members of the New Jersey Devils, including during Hall's 2017-18 MVP season. Zacha said he's excited to see everyone at camp. It's going to be a really competitive team. Just ready to come here and do my best to help the team in any way I can. He had 15 goals, 21 assists last season. Personal best, 17 goals, 50 assists the year before in the COVID shortened, single division, playing within that only season. And, along with playing with Bergeron comes the need for a new number. He wore number 37 as a member of the New Jersey Devils, wore number 14 internationally, and for the OHL's Sarnia Sting. Not a lot of numbers taken. There's a lot that have been retired by the Bruins, but he's going to have his choice, and he's going to have to work that out. He's a restricted free agent. Still has to work out a contract with the Bruins. Ideally, for both sides, it'll be a smooth negotiation. Don Sweeney saying part of the reason they acquired Zacha was because they see upside in him. They see the possibility that he could be with the team for an extended period of time. And his qualifying offer comes in at $3 million. Maybe they can agree on a deal. It's worth noting that he's represented by Darren Ferris. His clients include Taylor Hall and Jack Stanika. Hall, of course, agreed to a contract extension with the Bruins last offseason. Jack Stanika recently qualified and is in need of some stability with the Bruins. Zacha's time in Boston dates back to 2017 when some teammates in New Jersey, Brian Boyle and the late Jimmy Hayes specifically, they invited him to train in Foxborough. He's been spending summers in the area. Like I said, his girlfriend lived in Needham at the time. It's a big hockey town, he said. You have a chance to skate and train with a lot of good players. He has that relationship with Zboril. They've known each other since they were 4 years old, played together until they were 13, and then on national teams, Zboril texted him right away, and now they get to play again together, which is super fun for everybody. And of course, the chance to play with Pastrnak can't be understated. Always very skilled. Zacha said, a great guy off the ice, as everybody knows. And perhaps bringing in another Czech player will just entice Pasta to re-up for an extended period of time. So Zacha, great first impression. I, for one, very excited to have him in the mix. Before we get to a cool new hire that the Bruins have made, a quick word about BetOnline. Your number one source for all betting needs and sports info. You can find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including the Major League Baseball season and events like MMA, boxing, golf tournaments. Your continued source for all sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores and props. You can head to the website today, use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action at BetOnline, where the game starts. Earlier on Thursday, the Boston Bruins announced that Danielle Marmer has been hired as player development and scouting assistant. In her role, Marmer will work directly with player development coordinator Adam McQuaid to help develop prospects throughout the Bruins organization. Marmer spent this past season as one of 12 participants in the Boston Bruins Diversity and Inclusion Mentorship Program. This program partnered participants with a mentor in hockey ops and provided hands-on coaching and networking opportunities. Prior to that, Marmer spent 3 years as director of player development and hockey operations for Quinnipiac's women's ice hockey team. She focused on game video, player development, day-to-day team operations. Before that, she spent 2 years as an assistant coach for the Connecticut College women's ice hockey team, helping lead the team to a second-place finish in the NESCAC. She's a native of Dorset, Vermont, and has been involved in USA hockey camps as well. She was a forward for Quinnipiac from 2013 to 17, 132 career games, part of the ECAC championship in 2016, where the Bobcats finished with the program record 33-5. She's also a legal studies major and a scholar athlete as well. So just an incredible hire for the Boston Bruins. We've seen around the NHL women getting prominent roles in NHL organizations, and it's a great day for the Bruins to be adding some diversity to their own staff. For those of you questioning her background, whether or not it's a token hire, just throw that out the window. It's ridiculous, and Marmer well deserving of this role, and she'll work closely with Adam McQuaid, who was on the podcast previously. If you haven't listened to that episode, go search it up, but who's done great work helping develop some players in his year as in that role for the Boston Bruins. So very cool hire, and some good news for the Bruins and us fans as well. So moving forward, there's a couple questions here that the Bruins have to answer. One, who's going to play center? We're waiting on Patrice Bergeron. We're waiting on David Krejci. I said on Twitter on Thursday that it's possible this could drag on all summer as Don Sweeney attempts to clear some cap space and Bergeron's elbow heals up. David Krejci maybe finds a place here. You know, it doesn't have to be set in stone right away, but it certainly looks certain that Bergeron will be back. Looks like Krejci as well. Can put kind of 2 and 2 together there and make some comments about the previous coach. Who won't be a Bruin is a guy that I have been coveting for quite some time, and that's Dylan Strome. He's reportedly signed a 1-year, $3.5 million deal with the Washington Capitals. Very disappointing. I've been big on Strome for quite some time. He's making less than Nick Foligno, and he could be second-line center for the Boston Bruins for years to come. Another guy from that 2015 NHL draft. Now, it's only a 1-year deal. The Bruins will have quite a bit of money to spend next summer, as a bunch of guys will come off the books. For me, it's a tough one. You'd like to bring guys in, give them a taste of what it's like around here. Like what happened with Taylor Hall, entices him to re-up. And the Capitals just now making it official. 1-year, $3.5 million deal. I'm really bummed about it. Wish the Bruins could have cleared some cap space. They did that by dumping Hala for Zacha, but Zacha's qualifying offer is $3 million. I'm just noticing that it's quite sunny coming in here. Apologies for the YouTube crowd. But it would have been great to have a guy like Dylan Strome in the fold for this coming season and potentially beyond. But he's going to the Capitals and another Eastern Conference team loading up. Before we get to some other news and notes from around the NHL, I just want to thank you all so much for the support here on the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. It means so much that you would take some time out of your day to check it out and to interact on YouTube, on social media. It really does mean a lot. I will be going away for a little bit here. Family and I off to Ottawa for a family wedding. Then we're taking some time in Montreal. So might not be a podcast for a few days here. If anything big happens, I'll jump on the YouTube channel for sure and then catch you all up on all the latest with respect to the black and gold upon my return. I know I haven't touched much on development camp, but players are developing. Some guys look good. And, there's maybe one or two guys at that camp likely to be on the Bruins next season. Mark McLaughlin, possibly. Yeah, it is what it is. Thank you again for all the support. And again, no podcast early next week at least, possibly not till Thursday or Friday, and then I'll be back with all the latest with respect to the black and gold. Sorry for that sunspot there. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff to catch you up on from around the NHL, so you're going to want to check out the Locked On NHL podcast to stay fresh. The Senators signing Josh Norris to a 8-year, $63.6 million extension, just continuing to strengthen their case. And then the big story in hockey, up here in Canada anyways, is a woman who alleges she was sexually assaulted by 8 Canadian Hockey League players, including some members of Canada's 2018 World Junior team, will participate in Hockey Canada's rekindled investigation into the incident. Hockey Canada put out a open letter on Thursday morning saying that they have heard from Canadians, players, their families, fans, sponsors, those impacted by what occurred in 2018. This had already been settled. Generally, there's no settlement unless there's something to be settled. Hockey Canada said, "We know we have not done enough to address the actions of some members of the national junior team or to end the culture of toxic behavior within our game. For that, we unreservedly apologize." Now, if you look at the roster, quite a few prominent NHLers were on that team. So we'll see how that impacts some teams around the league. But glad that Hockey Canada is finally doing something after much pressure from a bunch of sponsors. I think that's it for today for me, friends. Bit of a short, quick and dirty one here for you as I'm off to Ottawa. Again, thank you so much for tuning in, for supporting the podcast. Follow at ENC McLaren, at Locked NHL Bruins for all the latest. Pardon my phone there. The Blue Jays game will be beginning in 15 minutes. Again, my hope, my expectation is that Patrice Bergeron will be a member of the Boston Bruins come training camp. I'm more optimistic than I ever have been that David Krejci will be joining him. That gives the Bruins a very good lineup, especially when everybody is back following injury. Your Brad Marchands, Charlie McAvoy's, Matt Grzelcyk's, Mike Riley's. Perhaps one of those defensemen will be traded. Wish somebody could have been moved so that they could have signed Dylan Strome. If Bergeron, Krejci decide not to come back, it's a much different story next year for the Boston Bruins. And it's going to be an interesting next offseason as a bunch of guys under contract will be coming off the books, although hopefully Pastrnak's deal, big new deal, will be kicking in at that time as well. So it's an unofficial break here, friends, as I go on vacation. Kind of the end of this current season. There'll only be 3 episodes per week through August, but you'll get a full slate upon my return. And again, follow Locked On Boston Bruins on YouTube to get any breaking news. Wherever I am, I'll jump on and record a video and send it over. So that's it. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll talk to you again here soon on the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every single day.